Hello, I am here today with Bartlett Morgan. Bartlett is the representative of the Barbados ICT Professional Association and the ALAC member of the At-Large Advisory Committee. Welcome, Bartlett.
Thank you for having me.
Bartlett, you are an At-Large Advisory Committee member and a LACRALO member.
Yes.
How did you get involved in At-Large, in the At-Large community?
Yeah. So, broadly speaking, I've always maintained an interest in technology, policy-related issues. And a friend of mine who was already involved with ICANN suggested to me that At-Large would have been perhaps a good fit for me, given my interest in end-user type issues. And so I got involved some years ago as a more or less unaffiliated member of LACRALO. And then about a year in, the Barbados ICT Professionals Association, or BIPA, they asked me to be their representative within LACRALO. And so I took on that role, and then with the progression of time and getting more and more involved, eventually I was selected as one of the ALAC members, which is the At-Large Advisory Committee, which provides advice to the ICANN board on policy issues.
Exactly. And how do you think that being a member of the At-Large Advisory Committee provides you the opportunity to bring the Internet's end users' input into the At-Large community and ICANN?
So I think it's important to frame these things appropriately. So the ALAC is set up to provide advice to the board, and the ALAC gets inputs from the different, what you call RALOs, which is Regional At-Large Organizations, and LACRALO is one of them. Now, how LACRALO works to facilitate getting the inputs in is, I'd say, a sort of two-stage process. The first part is communicating effectively and appropriately to end-user interests throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. And we do this in a bunch of different ways, sometimes directly on the ground in different engagement activities, meetings, conferences, that kind of a thing, and also indirectly by providing relevant information to the ALSs, which is the at-large structures in the different jurisdictions in Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, all of that is done with one aim in mind, to provide information about the key policy issues so that these end-user interests can in turn develop an informed opinion on them. So having developed this opinion, we then provide mechanisms for them to channel those inputs into the ICANN policy development processes. Now, we do this through a number of ways. It's being practical. We have mailing lists, where issues can be discussed back and forth and views are shaped and refined. And also, for example, we have regular monthly meetings, which is another opportunity for the policy issues to be discussed and for persons to provide inputs directly very often.
The internet is always evolving, new technologies are coming, new challenges are being presented to the at-large community.
Yes.
How do you think that LACRALO and the at-large community can adapt to the new realities of the internet?
Well, so the various challenges and so on that arise in respect to the internet, what won't change is that ICANN will always be looking to come up with appropriate policies and strategies to respond to the challenges and the new developments as they arise. And so what's important in all of that is for us to continuously play our role of being an effective intermediary between the policy development processes within ICANN and the end user interest. I mean, there are a number of examples of this kind of thing, like a live issue right now, the KSK rollover. That's a good example where clearly end user interests are impacted by the relative security of the internet and the domain name system. And so that's a clear example where we need to get the message out to them that, hey, here's this thing that's happening that will potentially impact how you may use the internet securely. And then by extension, also pulling in their feedback and feeding that into ICANN's approach to the KSK rollover.
That's right,
yes.
Exactly, yes. And now that we are here in your region, in ICANN 62,
yes.
And people are watching us remotely and also here in person, what would you like to them to hear, and what would you like them to take away from this meeting?
As it stands right now, LACRALO is doing some retooling and rethinking to more effectively contribute to ICANN's mission of policy development around names and number issues. So we are retooling to find ways to ensure that our members will be more deeply involved with that process. So going forward, expect to see more LACRALO members directly involved in different policy working groups, and also expect to see more engagement from LACRALO with the ALAC. As it regards persons generally within the Latin America and Caribbean region, we're here in Panama right now, and if in the broader sense you think that names and numbers policy is something that is important to you and to your community, then I would suggest that LACRALO may be the perfect home for you within the overall ICANN community. And if it's not a home, it can certainly be a launching pad for you to find that home within the ICANN community.
Exactly, that's right. This is the community where the internet and users can come and have their voices heard.
Yes.
And bring their concerns and inputs. And it
Yes.
sounds that this is the perfect opportunity for people from the region to approach you and approach
Yes.
LACRALO leaders to become a member of this community.
Yes, certainly.
Great.
Certainly.
Well, thank you very much, Bartlett, for your contributions to the LACRALO community, to the at-large community, to ICANN, and good luck.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right.